Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This video was requested by one of you. You know who you are. I usually don't like to mention the names of the people who request videos just because, you know, I haven't asked them or gotten their permission. So I don't know if they want all that kind of attention, but you know who you are. Somebody requested that I do a video of fragrances that I consider to be work friendly. I'm gonna be featuring a lot of some old fragrances, some limited edition ones, and then just some that are classics that are, you know, not too old, fairly new. And so I hope that you enjoy this video. If you guys have some of these fragrances, leave me a comment down below. I would love to hear your opinion. And I hope that the limited edition ones that I sprinkle in, if you guys have those fragrances, I hope that this video inspires you to pull them out and use them. Because as I mentioned in a couple of my other videos, this year I am really not going to be buying a lot of new makeup or a lot of new fragrances. There's going to be a couple of exceptions, and of course that's going to be, you know, reserved for the new launch from Tom Ford, which is the Cherry Smoke and Electric Cherry. However, I'm not blind buying those, so I'm just waiting for testers to come in store for me to be able to smell them before I purchase. And it has to be something that I really love, because although I would love to have the whole family together, for the price tag, I have to really love the fragrance. I'm not just gonna buy something that I don't really love just because I want to complete the family of Lost Cherry, you know what I mean? So I know that that's going to be an exception, but as far as like the Chanel spring collection, the Dior spring collection, I'm passing on that. I was considering getting the lavender glow stick. I'm still thinking about that. We'll see. And the oversized face palettes from Chanel, I may just pick up one, but I skipped out on the Natasha Denona pastel launch that just happened as well. I only picked up the highlighter, which just came in, by the way, from Beautylish, and I will be doing a separate video on that. But honestly, I just really won't be picking up much this year, so I hope that you are ready to see a lot of videos of me using eyeshadow palettes that I already have or that have been gifted to me by friends and family, and just really using up and honing down on using what I have. Okay, the longest intro ever. Let's get started. So the first fragrance I want to go ahead and start off with is one of the oldest fragrances I have in my collection. Not that this fragrance per se is old, like that I've had it for a long time and I haven't used it. No, this is like fairly a new bottle. This is just a fragrance that was introduced in 1999. 1999. This is Gucci Rush. And this also, there's also Gucci Rush 2 that was like in a clear pink bottle that I absolutely love, but that one was discontinued. So this is a particular fragrance that I always have in my collection. Literally, when I run out, I always pick up another bottle. This is a classic for me. So I have the 1.7 fluid ounce bottle. This retails for $84. It is this square red packaging. I love that they've kept its original packaging all this time, because this gives me all of like the 90s vibes for me. This is considered a, well, the notes for this one is gardenia, freesia, jasmine, vanilla, and patchouli. It is a euphoric and intoxicating fragrance that is the way that it's described here. However, I would consider this to be kind of like a very balanced like floral fragrance in my opinion, because you got the gardenia and freesia. I feel really stand out in this fragrance, and the longevity on this is magnificent. This lasts me all day, and I consider this to be a classic like work friendly fragrance. I love this. I think the packaging is unique. Nothing on the market really looks like this, so I love this. Because of its size and shape, this is also something that you don't have to be afraid of putting in your bag, because it's pretty sturdy, it's slim. I just think it's amazing. So that's my first one. The second one, oh, and I did want to tell you, I feel like this is a fragrance I wear all year round. So it's not one that I would categorize or pull out in a specific season, and I'll go over that with each fragrance. So I'll let you know if there's a fragrance that I'm going to talk about that I particularly use certain times of the year. So the next one I want to talk about is Jo Malone's Scarlet Poppy. This is part of their Cologne Intense line. I have the 1.7 fluid ounce bottle that retails for $145. And this one is considered a warm floral. Keynotes are Ambrette, Scarlet Poppy, and Tonka Bean. This is a very unique fragrance in my collection. I don't own a lot of powdery fragrances, and this is a little bit powdery. I don't like powdery fragrances. It's not something I gravitate towards. So this, I think, has a perfect balance of powdery and florals. However, this is a fragrance that I pull out in the kind of like fall winter months. I really love this fragrance. I think it's beautiful. That Scarlet Poppy and I feel like the Tonka Bean, it's just a really nice balance of powdery to floral. I feel like sometimes powdery fragrances can choke me a little bit. It can give me kind of like a little scratchy throat, you know what I mean? So I really do love this one, and I mean, I raved about this when it launched. This is not the first time I've reviewed this fragrance, and I keep raving about it. This is definitely a staple in my collection. So I consider that to be another work-friendly fragrance. The next one I want to talk about is one of, I think, the most worn fragrances, the most worn fragrance by most, and it is, you guessed it, the Chanel Coco Mademoiselle perfume. I own the 1.7 fluid ounce bottle. This retails for $116. This is considered to be a warm floral, and the key notes on this one is orange, patchouli, and Turkish rose. This is, oh, I had the top backwards, so the top has like a little CC right in the center. I don't know if the camera's gonna pick that up. I consider this to be another work-friendly fragrance. Also a fragrance that is appropriate all year round. Personally though, I use this fragrance spring, summer. I just love this. This is a classic. It's timeless. It will never go out of style. And it's one that I usually always have in my collection. Most of the fragrances I'm going to talk about are going to be small bottles. For like about 2 or 3 years now, I only started to purchase the small bottles because I have a lot of fragrance, and it's the only way I can guarantee that I can get through each fragrance in a timely manner without them getting old. I do keep my fragrances in a drawer, so that I keep them away from sunlight, because that preserves your fragrance a lot longer. I mean, who doesn't have this fragrance? I think most people love it. It is just one of those smells that are very unique. Like when you smell it, you know what it is. Everybody knows what this is. But since it is such a popular fragrance, I think that over the last 2 years, I think people have shied away a little bit from this because everybody wears it. And so I can understand that. However, for me, it will always be a timeless fragrance that I will continue to come back to time and time again. The next fragrance I'm going to talk about is a fragrance that I'm currently wearing right now during this video. It is a limited edition fragrance, and again, it was a limited edition launched last year, or the year before, I can't quite remember. It is Jo Malone's Elderflower. So Jo Malone used to carry Elderflower, which is considered a fruity floral. This is the one I have the 1 fluid ounce bottle, and this particular fragrance has a top note of gooseberry, middle note of black elder, and base note of dried fruits. This is one that was launched in, I think, the month of September, if I'm not mistaken. And this was a fragrance that Jo Malone used to carry. It used to be part of their permanent line, from what one of the associates told me, and it was discontinued and then relaunched during their like cordial jam edition. And out of all of the ones in that collection, Elderflower was my favorite. This is one though that I think is very work appropriate, but it's one that I only pull out in the fall winter season. I don't know what it is about this that just gives me fall winter vibes. Like when I smell this, that's the time of the season I think of. And this is also an extremely unique fragrance in my collection. Nothing that I own smells like this, and when I smell it, I immediately know which fragrance it is. So if you happen to pick this one up, I encourage you to take it out, use it, enjoy it. There's no sense in purchasing something that you are not going to use and it's just going to sit there and collect dust. Life is short and you really don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow. So, food for thought. The next fragrance I want to talk about is also another classic, and this one is Givenchy L'Interdit. I think I'm pronouncing that correct. I don't know. This one is the Eau de Toilette, is the one that I own. I purchased this one on purpose. I like it better than de Parfum. This one is the 1.7 fluid ounce and it retails for $88. This is considered to be a warm floral. Keynotes are orange blossom, jasmine, and musk. So, mind you, the name on this is, if you the translation for it is like the forbidden one. There's a lot of renditions of this fragrance. You have the Rouge, and then which is the red bottle, and then you have the Intense, which is the black bottle. I own both of those, but I consider this one to be the work appropriate one. So this fragrance is a fragrance that, the best way I can describe it is, it smells like a crisp spring air. Like, you know, when the flowers start to bloom, there is like a smell in the air. and leave me a comment down below if you know what I'm talking about. That's what this fragrance reminds me of. It is definitely a fragrance that I pull out during spring and summer because it is so defined in that kind of scent, and it truly is intoxicating. So when the spring hits, this is one of the ones that I definitely pull out. I prefer the Eau de Toilette over the Eau de Parfum. I don't know why. To me, they do not smell the same, and I prefer this one. I also not only like to wear this on my body, but I like to wear it in my hair as well, which is, I don't usually wear the fragrance that I wear on my body. I usually don't spray it in my hair, but this one is one that provokes me to do that. So I really like this. I think that it is just wonderful, and another fragrance that I consider to be very work appropriate. So if you have this one, start using it. This is definitely another classic. It's been around for a very long time. The next one is one that I think blew up over the past year, and we heard a lot about this fragrance on YouTube. So I follow Shelby Wilson, and she was the one who influenced me to buy this fragrance, and she was the one who provoked me to pick it up in store. And the fragrance I'm talking about is the one and only Giorgio Armani My Way. And I want for the camera to focus on the name of the bottle. There it is. I have the 1 ounce bottle. This retails for $78. And this one is considered a classic floral. Keynotes of orange blossom, tuberose, and vanilla. This is a refillable bottle. I love the top of this bottle. It looks like this beautiful sapphire stone with the Giorgio Armani name on the top. So I love the fact that it's refillable. When I run out of this, I can just go to Sephora and they'll go ahead and refill this for me. The best way that I can describe this fragrance is, to me, it smells like bubblegum and flowers. I kid you not. It is just wonderful. This is another fragrance that I usually pull this one out during summer. That freshness, that bubblegum kind of scent. I don't know, it almost reminds me of, you guys remember Bubblicious? It reminds me a little bit of that mixed with flowers. It's wonderful. I absolutely love this fragrance. And I consider this to be work appropriate. Longevity on this is great, lasts me all day. All of these fragrances really last all day. If they don't, I'll always mention it once I get to them. But I just love this bottle. It is gorgeous. It smells gorgeous. It is truly beautiful. And I think that these two fragrances here are similar. But this one, it just smells like bubblegum to me. And I just thought, I don't have anything that smells like that. And I don't know, when I smell it, it really makes me happy. It puts a smile on my face. It reminds me of something new, something fresh. That's what I feel when I wear that fragrance. The next one I want to talk about is a limited edition last year. This was like, I feel like this fragrance has a camp of like 50% of people don't like it, 50% of people like it. It was a limited edition, and it is the Jo Malone Starlit Mandarin and Honey. It only came in this size, which is why I have such a big bottle of this. This fragrance is just marvelous. Not only on its own, but this is a fragrance that I use a lot as a layering fragrance. And this is considered an aromatic fruity fragrance, and its notes are mandarin orange, honey, and tonka bean. This fragrance is definitely one that I only pull out fall winter. And although I enjoy wearing this on its own, and I do a lot of the times, since I purchased this fragrance, I haven't been able to put it down. And as you can see, because look how much I've used, I've layered this with many different fragrances, but I think that the best combination with this fragrance was Cardamom and Mimosa by Jo Malone. That fragrance with this one layered together, it's amazing. I love that combination. Highly, highly recommend. If you have those two fragrances, combine them, come back to me in the comments, tell me how you feel. This is, to me, is like, I definitely get the mandarin in there with the honey, but mostly I think that the mandarin and the tonka bean is what really shines in this fragrance. And there's a little bit of bitterness in this fragrance, which I think that it was not something that most people were anticipating. I think they were anticipating something, you know, very citrusy, kind of like the grapefruit from them. But this definitely takes a turn. It does have that bitterness, which is, I think, why I usually use this in the end of summer into fall winter. I just love this fragrance. I use it so much, and I think it's very versatile, fragrance, because I can layer it with most of my Jo Malone fragrances, and although they smell great, the best combination was a Cardamom and Mimosa. Oh my gosh, amazing. But I really do love this fragrance, and I will definitely be finishing this up before the winter season is over, because that's all I have left. And like I said, I've been using this since it launched, just because it's such a unique fragrance in my overall collection that I really wanted to play around with this with my other Jo Malone fragrances. So love this. If you picked this up when it launched and it's just sitting in your drawer, take it out and start using it. Combine it with other fragrances, and now is the time. I consider this to be a very winter fragrance, fall winter fragrance. Okay, I digress. Oh, by the way, I didn't even tell you, this is 3.4 fluid ounces, which is like their largest bottle. I can't remember how much I paid for this, so as you can see, most of the limited edition ones that I have, I can't remember what I paid for them, because, you know, after I gave birth, I can't remember anything. So moving right along, the next one I picked up is the Jo Malone Pomegranate Noir. This one, again, is definitely a winter fragrance for me. This one I own in a 1 ounce bottle, retails for $80. And the notes on this one is pomegranate, Casablanca lily, and guaiaca wood. I don't even know if I said that right. I love this fragrance. I think it's very sophisticated for winter. I truly only pull this out winter, not so much fall. You definitely get the smell of pomegranate in there for sure. But I think that the guaiaca wood really is, the pomegranate and the guaiaca wood is definitely what shines here. I get a lot of that woodiness in this fragrance, and I don't own a lot of woody fragrances. This is just I think one of the only ones that I own. I may have one more, but I can't remember on the top of my head which one it is. This one gives me all the winter vibes. This is such a beautiful fragrance, and I think it's very work appropriate. It's not overpowering. It's just very unique and intriguing is the best way that I can describe this fragrance. Now the last and final fragrance. This is a fragrance that I think most people own, kind of like the Coco Mademoiselle, and it is a classic. This fragrance has gone through so many different formulations over the past 6 years. My favorite rendition of this one though was, I think it was the one like 5 years ago. And I know that when I smell it, I know exactly what formulation it is. Every time that it's formulated, this smells a little bit different. But it's one that I consistently keep in my collection. And it is a Christian Dior Miss Dior. This I have in the 1.7 fluid ounce bottle, retails for $118. It is considered a warm floral. Keynotes is Lily of the Valley, Centifolia Rose, and Soft Musk. I liked the original formulation of this, and when this was reformulated, I still prefer the other one, but it smells very good, and it is one that I consistently have in my collection. I think this is work appropriate, and honestly, this is a fragrance just like the Chanel Coco Mademoiselle. This is a fragrance I feel like it's appropriate all year round. I do like the new bottle with the little bow because I actually did pick up the Dior lipstick case that matches the bow. So I really do love the packaging on this. It is wonderful. This one though was a gift from my husband's grandmother. She knows that I love this fragrance and I always have it in my collection. This is one just like my Chanel one and my Gucci one. When I run out of this, I usually go out and pick up a bottle, just because this is like my comfort zone fragrance. We all have those comfort zone fragrances, and for me is this. These are my comfort zone fragrances. It's one that when I'm in a hurry and I don't know what I feel like wearing and I'm unsure, these are fragrances that I know are my go-tos and that are never gonna let me down. No matter how I feel, no matter the season, this is it. Miss Dior. I think that most of us have this, and I think that just like the Chanel one, I feel like over the years people have shied away from this one a little bit just because so many people wear it. But again, for me, I don't wear fragrance just because everybody else is wearing it. I also am not influenced by how popular or unpopular a fragrance is. Like, if I go out, I mostly smell this on most women I speak to. I never feel any sort of way. I never think like, oh, this is too common, everybody wears it, I don't want to wear it anymore. That's not my thought process when it comes to fragrance. Like I said in a previous video, I'm a very simple animal. I either like a fragrance or I don't. I like what I like. I don't, like, there's not a giant thought process that goes through my mind when I choose a fragrance. I either like something or I don't, regardless of what I know the keynotes are. I know that there are some people who will initially not like a fragrance, and then when they read the notes, they start to warm up to it, and that kind of influences whether they like it or not. Some people have very refined noses and they are fragrance connoisseurs and they know exactly what they're smelling. They can literally pick out the notes as they're smelling it. I was not gifted with that talent. And so when I smell a fragrance, I really can't tell you what's in it other than maybe like rose, which is something that's very like distinct, or I would say patchouli is another scent that's very distinct, and like woodiness is something that's very distinct. Other than that, I'm kind of just like, oh, I like this or I don't like it. And so that is really how I come across like picking my fragrances when I buy them. I rarely blind buy anything that is very pricey. But I rarely blind buy fragrances, period. Just because I don't like returning fragrances or makeup. Like if I'm gonna buy something, I really do try to make sure I test it out in store and know that I'm gonna like it, because I just such a waste, you know what I mean? Like if I know here in the States, like if you order something and you don't like it, you can return it, and you know, then that's trash. But I mean, I can understand if you purchase something and you try it at home and it doesn't work out for you, the way that you expected quality wise. No, I completely understand. Like, you know, I'm gonna return something that doesn't perform well. But I think like when it comes to fragrance, I really do try to make an effort to smell it in store before I buy it, just because I don't like the waste of, like, they're never gonna be able to resell that fragrance because you've used it and you've opened it, so it's just gonna, someone's just gonna toss it away. They're not even gonna put it for sale. They're just gonna toss it away. So anywho, the explanation again, nobody asked for. But that completes this work fragrance video here. The fragrances that I consider to be work appropriate. I have a lot more fragrances than this, so I really did have to sit down, look at my collection, really think about it, and really think about what are the fragrances I do wear to work, because that, obviously it's the whole point of this video. And out of everything that I own, these are the ones I consider work friendly. I do have other fragrances that I am currently wearing, but I don't necessarily wear them to work. I wear them to go out, date night, etc. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment down below if any of these are your favorites, and which ones you're currently using. I would really like to know. And thank you so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate your time here, just because I know that you can be doing 1,000 other things and watching 1,000 other channels that are, much more entertaining than mine. But I do appreciate your time. I appreciate that you clicked on this video, and that you lasted this long, because I know it was pretty lengthy. There was a lot of fragrances I went through, and so just want to let you know I appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, you guys, and see you next time. Bye.